you are stuck in like a loop of overthinking and you're not quite sure how to move forward, may I suggest running into the freezing cold ocean. On January 1st, I did the polar bear plunge with a couple friends of mine at Rockaway Beach here in New York. And honestly, I feel like it rebooted my nervous system. It obviously did not cure my chronic illness, but it made me feel like, okay, I can just be more active in the sense of making decisions and not have to spend days agonizing over them. I think I spent so much of 2024 and 2025 editing and getting more clear about like where I want to end up. And, part of turning 40 and part of having to almost completely lose my business and my house and having to hire a lawyer to go after a client, it really grounded me in the sense of what is really important and what are the key elements of my life I want to focus on. And also made me really grateful to have community and want to invest in that. So 2026 for me is all about action. And I don't just mean like, I'm just going to do everything. Part of being action sometimes is realizing like my action is going to be resting because I need it. My action is going to be putting out a bunch of content and seeing what feels right and what's going to do well. And also trying to find other ways of whether it's income streams or creativity. Part of that is keeping some stuff and like having the action of having a hobby and not having to film it, not having to make it into, more content just because I could, right? So part of that for me is being less caught in the overthinking cycle. And part of what helps me do that is think like, what would 10-year-old me be like super excited and stoked to do? And what would 80-year-old me regret not doing? I don't try not to have a lot of, regrets over things I did because what can you do? But I try to make it inform what I want to do in the future and really put myself in a position of like, what would I be excited to and what would I be sad that I didn't do? And I think that's how I'm going to really focus the next, hopefully 10 years, 20, who knows, of my life, and really making sure like what is the right action to take, but not get so caught up on what's right and what's wrong, but just putting things into action, trying things, and having that energy that I had when I was, 10 or a teenager of just being like, yeah, I can do it. It's fine. Instead of, 40-year-old me that maybe is constantly weighing pros and cons and overthinking. And I definitely feel more like myself when I'm letting myself focus on the action and not so much of the, strategy behind it. And that is important. But sometimes you just got to do the thing. So for 2026, I'm all about action. What about you?